So the recent news of Game Pass price increase and overall unclear future of Xbox as a brand got me thinking, why have I been subscribing? What do I have an Xbox console for? And what do I think about the prices and tiers changes? For the longest time I've had the Xbox One S, a much better revision of the Xbox One console that I got primarily to play backwards compatible original Xbox and Xbox 360 titles, plus some of the Xbox One exclusives that it still had at the time. And Game Pass was already a thing, although it didn't offer day one releases of AAA games and new first-party Xbox or Microsoft Studios games. You still had quite a catalog of Xbox franchises like all the Halo games, all Gears of War games, and that's a lot of games. A lot of great games. Me and my friend played all Halo and all Gears of War games back to back. It was great. To this day, even after a huge percentage of titles being ported to PC and now some on PS5 even, certain games remain Xbox console exclusives like Gears 2 and 3 and Judgment, for example. Some time passed and I kinda stopped playing Xbox One as much since exclusive games were not really there and I wasn't that big of a fan of games from Game Pass being taken away. Unlike in PS Plus, if you claim a monthly game, you can always download and play it as long as you are subscribed. One thing kept eating at me though, backwards compatible catalog of games with enhancements, like 4K resolution, better frame rate, enhanced graphics settings, and better texture filtering for quite a lot of titles, and absolutely for free. This was and still is an amazing feature, although according to reports only a fraction of players actually play backwards compatible games, which is a little strange, but anyway. The problem was that these enhancements are only available on Xbox One X and Series X, well, and partially on Series S, with mainly FPS boost and faster load time stuff. So for years I've been keeping my eye on One X and the Series X consoles, trying to justify the purchase and occasionally playing on One S. With Game Pass as well, including some of the current games at the time like Diablo 4 and Dead Island 2, and those ran horribly. I mean, it's sort of a miracle they run at all, but framerate drops were catastrophic. And then Microsoft started buying studios and offering day one huge title releases, and the offer became about as good as you can imagine. Game Pass, I mean. And I finally gave in and purchased the Series X last year. It's been mostly great. I've played a decent number of backwards compatible titles and day one AAA releases like Doom Dark Ages, and amazing indie day one releases like Cocoon, and had very little problems with the system itself, apart from my friend no longer playing on Xbox as he didn't go for the current gen. Let me know in the comments if that's relatable, but anyway, why have I been subscribing to Game Pass? Reason number one. Due to a Microsoft Store error, it's been way too cheap for me. At some point I changed console region to another country to buy games for cheaper, sub to Game Pass, then cancelled the sub and switched the region back to Canada in my case. Eventually I resumed the sub and it kept charging me the amount equal to the price from the cheaper region plus tax, which is weird, but it ended up being something around 8 Canadian dollars for Ultimate, and only recently it became something around $10 Canadian again. So you can see how good of a value it's been for 10 Canadian dollars, which is approximately 7 American dollars, I think. I've got to be honest, it's been one of the main reasons why I've been subscribed. But reason number two, day one releases. It really has been a good way to save some money on big and quality titles like Rematch, Clair Obscur 33, Indiana Jones, Oblivion Remake, Silksong, Black Ops 6, I mainly played multiplayer but still, and many more. In my case, just one game like Indiana Jones equals around 7 months of subscription, so it's a good deal, although I'll still prefer to own the game, in quotes own, if we are talking about a digital game of course, but it's still better than essentially renting it and tremendously more likely to be taken away. Reason number 3. Microsoft Rewards points, which grants you points for completing quests like play 4 or 8 Game Pass games per month, or play 5 days straight, earn achievements and so on, which can be later invested into gift cards. One of those is Overwatch 2 coins, and since I play Overwatch 2 quite often and even have a separate related channel, which I'll link somewhere, once you collect 5,000 points, I think, you can claim 500 Overwatch coins, which is worth around 6-7 Canadian dollars. So you can see how that alone almost make the sub worth it. Reason number 4. Sometimes it happens that you bought a game and then you need to move countries and either forget or can't bring some of the games with you. And it kinda sucks to have to buy it all over. So Game Pass is pretty good for playing games that you own but don't have access to. So I've been doing that quite a lot. Reason number 5. Thanks to Game Pass, I did try and play many games I otherwise likely wouldn't have played. There is a certain downside to it called time, since there is only so much of it to play games, and Game Pass offers so many, you really have to organize what you are playing, otherwise there is a good chance to get frustrated by just looking at all those options and not play anything really, or maybe come back to the same game like it is for me with Rematch, to be honest. Now let's talk about recent developments with price increase and subscription tiers changes. So the lowest tier is called Essential instead of Core, and here we have pretty much the same stuff: multiplayer on consoles, a limited selection of 50 plus games, up to $25 per year in rewards, and cloud streaming with the most wait times for $10. The mid tier instead of standard is now called Premium and offers the same stuff as Essential plus 200 plus games and new Xbox published games within a year since release, so it's no longer day one, which is a major L in my book. So up to $50 in rewards and cloud streaming with reduced wait times. All that for $15. And last but very much not least, an ultimate tier with all the same stuff as Premium but also 400 games. 400 plus, 75 plus day one games with all Xbox published games day one. Fortnite Crew subscription, which even on its own is worth like $15, I think. Ubisoft Classics Plus, a collection of classic Ubisoft games and semi-recent titles like Watch Dogs Legion, Far Cry 6. And that is interesting. PS Plus also give you access to all the same Ubisoft titles, and technically Game Pass is sort of a better deal now on paper, with EA Play games also still included. But PS Plus has other advantages, including the monthly games and the PS Classics, but that's topic for another video. Yes, and the Ultimate also offers up to $100 in rewards and an unlimited cloud streaming at best quality with shortest wait times. Does anyone really use it ever? Apart from maybe checking a 100 gigabytes game before committing to downloading it, I used cloud streaming a couple of times when I only had access to my phone, but that's about it. Well, I guess it leaves the question, are Xbox consoles worth it? Now and in the near future. I'd say at this point only if you care about original Xbox and Xbox 360 backwards compatible games and the enhancements offered for them. Plus, some games from Xbox One/PS4 generation have FPS boost, while the same PS4 games running on PS5 in some cases don't have it. But honestly, if you don't really care about PS5 exclusive games and don't want to spend quite a lot more money on good PC, Xbox Series consoles are pretty good and capable platforms still, despite all the negativity. But with recent price increases for hardware as well, that's still debatable. And a closely related question, is Game Pass worth it? I would say not at the price point of $30. It still offers a lot, and if used wisely it can be a good value, but realistically there's just not enough time to play that many games. And for $30 it's too much of a monthly commitment and more of a headache, to be honest. I'm thinking of canceling as I do feel overwhelmed with the choice and not enough time. What keeps me subscribed is the mentioned Microsoft Store bug. It's just too good of an offer. If it ends at some point, I think I'll cancel Game Pass and perhaps subscribe when there is a couple of day one big Xbox published games, then play them and cancel, which is not exactly what Xbox would have wanted, let's be honest, but I guess it is what it is. Alright guys, let me know what you think. Do you have an Xbox? If you do you plan to keep gaming on it? Or are you sub to Game Pass or cancelled or whatever? Leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and I'll talk to you soon.